You guaranteed our family cruise was secured for each of us, I mentioned. Oh, we didn't recall your children, my sister responded from the jetty. So, I tapped Revoke room privileges and requested a complete reimbursement. 20 minutes later, my sister bellowed. What have you cost? My answer came. You know. Can you even imagine showing up for a big family vacation, bags packed, kids practically vibrating with excitement, only to be told, point blank, oops, we forgot you had kids. Because that's exactly what happened to me. And that one sentence? It wasn't just rude. It ripped open a wound I didn't even know was still bleeding. My name's Marcus, I'm 36. I'm the oldest, the fixer, the guy who always knows the customer service number and the secret phrase to get you to a real human. My job is project logistics, which is just a fancy way of saying I make chaos behave. At home, I've got Nora, 8, and Theo, 5. Their mom, my ex-wife, and I. We're good, we co-parent well. But in my family, I'm the go-to. Every birthday, every school form, every printer jammed at 11 p.m. emergency, people call me. I'm the one who shows up. And Saturday morning, I showed up. At the port, with 2 small backpacks, 2 unbelievably excited kids, and this knot in my stomach that I kept telling myself was just coffee. All week, our family group chat had been a blur of memes, dress code reminders, jokes about gaining 5 pounds at the buffet. I'd convinced myself the tension I felt was just pre-vacation nerves. This was it, the first big family trip since my divorce. The first time my parents, my sister, and I would be stuck in one place for longer than a rushed brunch. We wheeled our suitcases past a line of families taking photos under a giant cruise banner. Nora squeezed my hand. Daddy, is the pool open right away? Theo bounced like a tiny spring. Can I see the slide? Can I see it now? We found my sister, Jenna, at the dock rail. She's 4 years younger than me. All big sunglasses and even bigger energy. She saw me and gave that 2-finger wave, the one that screams, I'm busy being important. You told me the family cruise was booked for everyone, I said, trying to keep my voice even. Cabins connected. One for me and the kids. One for you. One for Mom and Dad. Jenna's smile didn't quite reach her eyes. Oops, she said, twisting her mouth like she'd just bitten into a lemon and wanted an applause for it. We forgot you had kids. I actually laughed. Then I saw her face. She wasn't joking. Excuse me. There, flagged the kids, she said, like she was talking about misplaced luggage. It's kind of, well, the itinerary changed. There's an adults-only pool deck restriction for the block we got. Don't worry, there's a kids' club waitlist. Waitlist? Nora stopped smiling. Theo's hand, clutched in mine, went cold. Jenna shrugged. Just for the first couple of days. Anyway, we already turned in our boarding forms. You'll figure it out. Just then, Mom appeared, smoothing her cardigan, like she could somehow iron the entire moment flat. Marcus, don't make a scene. I'm trying to understand, I said, my voice tight. Who booked the rooms? Jenna smiled again, even brighter, even faker this time. Obviously, they preferred one contact, and you're always so busy. So I handled it. I looked at the bracelet on her wrist, cruise line logo, a tiny silver ship, matching ones on Mom and Dad. The kind you pick up after check-in. My kids didn't have bracelets. I didn't either. Where are our passes? I asked. Jenna tilted her head. About that, the system wouldn't let me add children to our block. You know how these packages are. But it'll be fine. Just go to guest services and ask. Maybe they can squeeze you in somewhere. We're already pre-boarding for the spa tour. Theo tugged my sleeve. Daddy, do we get bracelets? I looked at my sister, at the massive ship, at the line of smiling families moving forward. Then back at Jenna's face, that lockdown expression I'd known since childhood. We already decided without you. Why didn't you call me? I asked. Her mouth twitched. Because every time I call you, you give me a speech. I thought you'd be grateful for being excluded. Dad loomed behind Mom, hands in his pockets, his voice heavy. Son, let it go. We're going to miss our slot. Nora's voice was so small. Are we not going? Jenna leaned in, sunglasses glinting. It's just logistics, Marcus. Don't be dramatic. I just stared at the ship for a long, quiet beat. The smell of fuel, the gulls crying overhead, the kids' backpacks warm in my hands. 20 minutes later, Jenna texted the group chat. Boarded. Drinks. I didn't reply. I watched the last wave crash against the dock and felt something inside me go very, very still. Behind me, Theo whispered, Daddy. I knelt to his height, smoothing his hair. We're okay, I said. I promise. A loudspeaker crackled overhead. People cheered. The ship horn blared. We forgot you had kids. That was the trigger. That was the sentence I just couldn't swallow. My phone buzzed again. This time it wasn't a text. It was a charge. And I remembered exactly who paid the deposit. I didn't move. Not yet. I just watched that ship and breathed. and I let the quiet harden into a decision that would change the rest of my year. It didn't start at the dock, though. It never does. It starts in smaller rooms, with softer voices. Like last year, when Dad had his surgery. I took a week off, sleeping on a hospital chair that felt like a folding ladder. Jenna? She posted a black and white photo of her holding Dad's hand with the caption, "Family is everything," and got 200 likes. I changed his wound dressings and figured out which pharmacy had the generic at half the cost. Nobody liked that. There's no heart reaction for a spreadsheet, right? Growing up, Jenna learned to be the favorite. Loud, shiny, self-promoting. I learned to be useful. If a faucet leaked, I fixed it. If a teacher confused forms, I wrote the email. When money was tight, I picked up side gigs and quietly slid the difference into Mom's account. When Jenna's car got repossessed, I paid the impound fees, just this once. It happened 3 times. We called it family. What it was? I was a walking buffer. The cruise idea started with Mom's 70th birthday. "We should all go," Jenna announced in the chat, sending a link to a glossy video of sunsets and giant water slides. "Group rate if we snag it this week. It's so cheap." I ran the numbers. "I can swing it if the kids are included," I wrote. 2 cabins connected. "I'll cover mine. I'll put the deposit down today to lock it." "Marcus, you hero," Jenna posted, with a string of balloons. I paid the deposit on my card. The cruise line broke it into chunks. "Booking fee now, balance due 6 weeks out." I asked for receipts to be forwarded to my email. Jenna said the system was being weird and asked if she could be the primary contact just for forms. I said fine, because I was juggling a deadline, and because trusting your sister shouldn't require a legal review. 2 days later, she added a surprise detour, a private beach day. "My gift," she wrote. She attached a photo of cabanas with curtains like wedding veils. I asked if kids were allowed. She sent a winky face and said, "They'll love the sand." Then, little things started to tilt. She moved our dinner time to the late seating because the early slot is for toddlers. She swapped our floor because Mom gets seasick if she's not midship. Each change pinged my card as an adjustment, minimal charges. I didn't argue. I was tired. Then came the group chat pressure. "Marcus, can you also pay the gratuities up front? It's easier if one person does it," Jenna said. "I'll Venmo you later." I typed and erased 3 times. "Okay, I'll pay, but I need everyone's part before final payment." Mom chimed in with the classic line. "You know, we're good for it." We are not, I thought. But I was taught to keep the peace. I covered the balance and set calendar reminders to collect. I sent polite nudges. Jenna sent me gifts of ducks wearing sunglasses. "After payday," she wrote. Payday came and went. 3 weeks out, Jenna messaged me directly. "Quick thing. The ship upgraded our block to the Serenity deck because they loved my story about Mom's birthday. Isn't that sweet? The Serenity deck. Adults only." "Jenna," I wrote, "the kids." She took 8 hours to respond. "They'll have so much fun in the club. It's supervised." "They're 8 and 5, I texted. I checked. Nora is eligible. Theo's borderline, but they make exceptions. "Borderline. It's fine," she wrote. "Don't nitpick. You make everything hard." I called. She didn't pick up. Later, she left me a voice note, full of fake cheer. "Hey, just saw this. I'm at a nail appointment. You're overthinking. Let me handle the fun stuff. You handle whatever it is you handle." 2 days later, my card got hit for priority boarding packages and welcome cocktails. "We don't drink. Why did you add that?" I texted Jenna. "It's a vibe," she replied. Me. "Remove it, Jenna." Her. "Already processed. Chill." I sat at my kitchen table, my budget open, my kids coloring beside me, and I felt the outline of a decision forming. A decision I absolutely didn't want to make. I've always believed you can set boundaries without blowing up the bridge. But what if that bridge only exists to move money from you to someone else? On Thursday, I met Mom for coffee. I tried to explain. "I want this to work, but the deck change puts us on different floors. The kids are the point. It's a family trip." Mom stirred her sugar like it owed her rent. "Your sister planned this whole thing. Just say thank you." "I paid," I said gently. She looked offended. "Don't throw money in our faces." "I'm throwing facts," I countered. "We're not on the same deck. The kids won't have pool access with you." Mom exhaled loudly. "Can't you let your sister have one nice thing without poking holes?" It was wild to hear one nice thing, after years of me quietly plugging holes no one else even admitted existed. I changed tactics. "Let's just make sure we're all together. I can call guest services." Mom waved a hand. "Marcus, stop. It's handled." Friday night, I packed the kids' swimsuits and 3 types of sunscreen, because somehow that has always been my job. I told myself I was being paranoid. At 9 p.m., a new charge hit my card. Cabin reassignment fee. I called Jenna again. No answer. A minute later, she texted, "Can't talk." Spray tan. I didn't sleep. My stomach felt like a locked fist. At 5 a.m., I made pancakes and pretended to be excited. At 7, we loaded the car. At 9:30, we rolled our suitcases to the dock. And at 10:05, my sister told me, "Oops, we forgot you had kids." Like my children were a footnote that could just be edited out of the document. But behind the scenes, it was even worse. I wasn't just being excluded. I was being positioned to pay, then disappear. While I stood at the rail, my phone kept buzzing. $128 here, $56 there. Sail away cocktail. Thermal suite pass. Stateroom sparkling amenity. My card. My money. For a trip that didn't include my kids. The problem wasn't the cruise. The problem was the system. Jenna decides. Marcus funds. Mom blesses. Dad says, don't make a scene. And I swallow it. The scene swallows me back. When Nora asked, do we get bracelets? I felt something in me split clean. Not like this, I said. Not anymore. I told myself not to act angry. Don't text the group chat in all caps. Don't call Jenna names. Anger is easy to dismiss. Facts aren't. So, I opened the cruise line app. Everything was there. The booking I paid for. The changes I hadn't approved. The note that said, primary contact, Jenna. A button labeled manage guests. Another labeled onboard charges pre-authorized. My phone vibrated with a voice message from Jenna. We're in the champagne lounge. Marcus, if you're not going to come on, can you at least answer a question? They need your card for mom's internet package. Quick, thanks. I didn't answer. I tapped onboard charges. A list appeared. Cabin 9124, Jenna, $112 beverage credit applied, $0 due. Cabin 9122, parents, $112 beverage credit applied, $0 due. Cabin 10136, Marcus, status pending. Guests not checked in. I scrolled. There was an option tucked under the total I'd never looked at before. Restrict spending privileges and revoke cabin access for non-checked-in guests. It would have been so easy to slam it, to hit the nuclear button out of spite. But that wasn't the point. The point was the principle. I'm not paying for a party that erased my children. Daddy, Nora tugged my sleeve again. Are we in trouble? No, I said. We're fixing it. I walked to the end of the dock, where the signal was clearest, and called the cruise line. The hold music chirped. Theo traced a gull with his finger. Thank you for calling. A human voice finally said. How can I assist? I'm the primary on a group booking, I said. There's a problem. Kids are excluded against the original terms. I paid the deposit and balance. I need to remove myself as sponsor for cabins not traveling with my party and request a refund due to non-compliant changes. May I verify your information? I verified. She pulled up the record. She read out the notes. I see adjustments made by a secondary contact last week. I do. I cut in, see a deck change to an adults-only block, right? And you're traveling with minors. Yes. She was quiet for a second. I'm so sorry. That shouldn't have been done without the primary confirmation. I can annotate a material change exception and submit the cabins you funded but are not occupying for a refund. It will cancel their access until payment is reestablished. I pictured Jenna with her matching bracelet, sliding onto a bar stool like she owned the ship. Please proceed, I said. Be advised, the rep continued. The other cabins will receive a message that their sponsorship has been removed. They can re-add a card immediately. If they don't, their keys won't open stateroom doors or process charges. So, it's not stranding them, I clarified. It's just making them pay for what they're using. Exactly. My hand steadied. Do it. While she processed, I opened the family group chat. I didn't yell. I posted screenshots. The invoices. The adults-only note. Then I wrote one paragraph. Simple. I paid for a family trip. You changed it to exclude my children. I will not fund a vacation that discards them. I've withdrawn my sponsorship. You can add your own card to your cabins at the desk. If you'd like to discuss, meet me at the dock. I'll be here with my kids for the next 30 minutes. Then we're making other plans. Within seconds, the dots appeared. Mom first. Marcus, stop this drama. Dad. We are already on board. Don't embarrass yourself. Jenna, what did you do? I didn't respond. The cruise rep came back. Okay, Mr. Hale, I've removed your payment method from cabins 9122 and 9124. I've submitted the refund request for your cabin due to non-compliant itinerary change. You'll get a confirmation email. Thank you, I said. My voice sounded flat, even to me. My phone started ringing. Mom, then Dad, then unknown, then Jenna. Finally, a text from an unknown number. This is guest services. Your party needs you to come fix the payment. I typed back. No. Then Jenna's caps lock came through. What did you do? I pictured her at the counter, the smile gone, her tone sharp, the staff completely unamused. I kept my reply boring. I stopped paying for you. She sent 9 bubble bursts in a row. Marcus, Marcus, Mom called from the gangway above, her voice tight, like I was an employee taking an unauthorized break. Come aboard. We'll talk in the lounge. I looked up at them. Jenna, sunglasses pushed into her hair. Mom, with her performative outrage. Dad, hands still in his pockets. No, I said. We'll talk here. Jenna rolled her eyes. You are so petty. Add the card back. You already paid. Why throw a fit at the finish line? Because there is no we in a trip that pretends my kids don't exist, I said. Say it out loud, Jenna. You switched decks to adults only. You knew. She opened her mouth, closed it. The upgrade was a gift. Don't punish us for taking care of Mom. Punish, I said, keeping my tone calm. You moved the goalposts and expected the same wallet. You're ruining Mom's birthday, she yelled. From the app, a red banner slid across the top. Sponsorship removed. Please visit guest services. I screenshotted it for the chat's benefit. Dad finally raised his voice, the way he only does when I stop being convenient. Son, enough. Put your card back, and we'll sort it later. I felt my chest loosen in a way I didn't recognize. Later is how we got here. Jenna switched tactics. If you don't fix this, we'll miss sail away. Do you really want your mother crying? Theo's small voice piped up. Grandma doesn't cry. She yells. Nora squeezed my hand. Can we go now? This was the break. Not the refund request. Not the screenshot. That simple sentence. Can we go now? It made the next step easy. I put my phone back to my ear. One more question, I asked the rep quietly. If I cancel my cabin entirely due to the change, can I get a full refund to the original method? Yes, she said. With the notes I've added, yes. Please finalize, I said. And thank you for your help this morning. I hung up. I looked up at my family for the last time that day. Marcus, Mom shouted. What did you do? I answered in the same even tone I use when I'm explaining a process at work to someone who believes rules are optional. I stopped treating my wallet like community property. Jenna's mouth hardened. You're going to regret this. I smiled a little. No, I'm going to lunch. And then I turned my back on the ship horn, on the matching bracelets, on the adults-only deck, on the script I'd been handed since I was 10. Be useful, not loud. Pay first. Ask later. Don't make a scene. I took my kids' hands and we walked. We didn't go home. I didn't want the day to taste like failure every time I thought of it. We drove 20 minutes down the coast to a little motel with a faded sign and a manager who slid crayons across the counter without asking. I paid in cash. The room smelled like salt and old carpet. The kids climbed onto the beds and bounced, laughing. Then we walked to a taco stand where the salsa came in plastic cups with handwritten labels. Hot. Hotter. Regret. Over lunch, Nora asked the question I'd been bracing for. Are they mad? Yes, I said, with complete honesty. They're very mad. Did we do something wrong? Theo asked. No, I said. We just showed them our boundary. Like when we don't let kids cut the line at the slide? Nora said. Exactly like that, I confirmed. My phone pulsed all afternoon. Messages rolled in like bad weather. Mom alternated between guilt trips. Your poor mother is humiliated. And threats. We will never forget this. Dad sent 2 sentences. You need help. I'm disappointed in you. Jenna's were a spray of accusations. Selfish. Petty. Grow up. I'll never forgive you. Then came the relatives. An aunt I hadn't heard from in months. Your mother is in tears. A cousin. I wouldn't have done that to my sister. Another. You stranded them. I responded once to the group. The staff told you clearly how to add your own card at the counter. You chose not to. That isn't stranding. That's adulthood. Then I turned off notifications. 2 hours later, the cruise line emailed. Refund initiated. Another email. Your request has been approved due to material change. The numbers were neat, factual. Deposit, balance, taxes, fees. The words that mattered most were simple. Back to my card. By sunset, I had booked a different plan. Not a cruise, not a grand gesture. A 3-night cabin at a lakeside campground, 2 hours inland. The photos promised kayaks, a fire pit, and a laundry room that took quarters. No bracelets. No adults only anything. I texted my ex, Elise. Change of plans. Can I keep the kids through Wednesday if I plan something safe and fun? Her reply was a minute later. No drama? Like oxygen. Of course. Are they okay? They're good, I wrote. We all are. At the motel pool, Nora practiced floating and Theo practiced splash cannonballs. I sat on a plastic chair and stared at my phone, thumb hovering over the group chat icon, the old reflex curling in my hand. If I open it, I fix it. If I fix it, nothing changes. I put the phone face down and watched my kids instead. The next morning, we drove to the lake. The water was the color of bottle glass. A pair of ducks patrolled the shore like mall cops. We rented a kayak and let the kids argue over who got to shout, Captain. We ate peanut butter sandwiches on the dock and told knock-knock jokes that didn't quite land. And it was better than a buffet could ever be, because it was ours. Meanwhile, on the ship, the drama finally started to leak the other way. Jenna's friend Julia, the one who lives for Instagram, posted a story from a hallway with the caption, "Of course this would happen to us." Behind her, you could hear Mom's voice at full tilt. "We are family. Does that mean nothing to you people?" Hey. Minute later, another story. When guest services says you need your own CC, but your brother ruined everything. A poll underneath it. Team Jenna or Team Scrooge? I didn't vote. A cousin DM'd me privately. They're telling everyone you canceled the whole cruise because the kids couldn't swim near them at the quiet pool. I wrote back. They booked an adults-only block without telling me. That quiet pool was the plan all along. My cousin sent a single word. Yikes. Then, for what it's worth, I'm with you. By day 2, the family chat shifted from fury to fractures. Dad complained in the chat about the prices now that everything's a la carte. Mom snapped that the internet was slow because Marcus always handled the tech. Jenna posted a photo with a cocktail and wrote, "Unbothered." Then posted 3 more stories complaining about lines. An aunt, the kind who always says, "We will talk about this later," finally posted. This could have been an email. It made me laugh harder than it should have. On the second night by the lake, we made s'mores. Nora melted chocolate on the graham with surgical focus. Theo burned his marshmallow black, blew it out, and declared it crunchy delicious. The kids smelled like smoke and sugar. It felt like the inside of my chest finally unclenched. Still, the withdrawal aches came in waves. I'd catch myself picturing Mom's face, Dad's sigh, Jenna's performative pout, and anger would surge behind my ribs. Then I'd breathe and let it pass. My therapist, yes, I booked one after the divorce, once told me, "When you set a boundary, expect the tantrum." It's data. That sentence kept me steady. On the 3rd morning, a new number texted me. "Mr. Hale, this is the cruise line. A member of your party asked if you could temporarily re-add your card to resolve a room lockout. We informed them that due to previous changes, you are no longer the sponsor. We just wanted to confirm you did not authorize any re-add." Confirmed, I wrote. Then I added, because I wanted it in the file, "Please notate that children were excluded from the block via deck reassignment after payment. I will not sponsor cabins that blocked minors." Understood, the rep wrote back. Noted. It was such a small thing, just words in a system. But reading "noted" made me feel like I'd planted a flag somewhere official that said, "I exist. My kids exist. The rules apply." Elise drove up to meet us for our last afternoon. We sat on the cabin steps while the kids constructed a complicated rock game they insisted had rules. I told her the whole story, no editing. She listened and nodded. "I'm proud of you," she said finally. "Not for being angry, for being clear." I swallowed. It was the first time the word proud had been attached to any action I took that wasn't quietly paying for something. On the drive back, I turned my phone on to check directions. At the top of my notifications was a final volley from Mom. An old photo of me on a tricycle, captioned, "You were a sweet boy once." I stared at it for a second, then deleted it. Telling me I used to be easy was not the flex she thought it was. We got home. I did laundry, hung the kids' damp swimsuits on the bathroom rod, and folded clean towels into neat stacks that made me feel like I controlled something. That night, I blocked the family group chat. Not forever, just a pause. I set my phone on the counter. The apartment felt quiet in the way I associate with snow, even though it was early summer. I slept like I hadn't in months. 2 days later, my refund posted in full. The number looked like proof, not because of the money. Though, yeah, the money matters, but because for once, the outcome matched the boundary. I said no. The world didn't end. We ate s'mores. The kids laughed. The ship sailed without me, like a smooth metaphor I didn't need anymore. The fallout continued elsewhere. Jenna tried to rally the relatives into a petition titled, "Marcus owes Mom an apology." An uncle replied, "He doesn't." Another wrote, "Pay your own bills." Quietly, the dynamic shifted. Not for everyone, and not in a movie montage way, but enough that the next time someone reached for my wallet through the side door of the good son narrative, they found it locked. So what do you think? What would you have done in my place, watching that ship sail away? Have you ever had to draw a line with family and deal with the fallout? I'd really love to hear your experiences in the comments below.